Welcome to your Season 22 Blaseball weather update. This is the mid-season forecast. Warning: this video contains forbidden knowledge. Stop watching now if you do not wish to access hidden information. This video would not have been possible without the work of the Society for Internet Blaseball Research. Flooding remains the most common weather as we move into the mid-season. New arrival Sun Point 1 sits in second, just ahead of black holes, while Sun 2 has tumbled down into fourth. Hawaii will be hosting the most blood rain, the Pillars the most black holes, and Houston hosts both the most solar eclipses and salmon. Chicago will see the most birds, whilst Atlantis plays host to the most sun, both 2 and Point 1. Stay tuned for a team-by-team breakdown after an economy overview. Everything has decreased as Sun Point 1 continues to dominate in the forecast. Eclipses fluctuate wildly, but are mostly down, whilst black holes and Sun 2 remain within a few percentage points each time. The lift have one opportunity to use flood balloons, but are otherwise modificationless in the mid-season. Their most common weather is black holes. The Fridays get one chance to invite bird friends over, but 7 chances to see flood pumps in use. Their most frequent weather is flooding, and they also play the most blood rain games of any team. The Mechanics have got their renovations back up and running, with 1 game for psychoacoustics and echo chamber, 1 for sweetener, and 2 for flood balloons. Their highest weather is black holes. The Garages get to use all of their modifications, seeing 2 games for psychoacoustics, 2 for birdhouses, 1 for sweetener, and 4 for flood balloons. Their joint highest weathers will be Sun 2 and black holes. The Lovers have 2 chances to use LCD sound system, 1 to use birdhouses, and 2 to use sweetener. Their most frequent weather is flooding, but they play the most polarity games of any team. The Tacos will have 2 chances to use psychoacoustics and LCD sound system, 1 to use birdhouses, and 1 to see heat magnet in action. They get 2 games from their increaser, which makes 5 Sun 2 games overall, but it is Sun Point 1 that will be their most common weather. The Magic have 1 opportunity to see heat magnet at work, but 4 to use solar panels. Their highest weather is black holes. The Sunbeams see all their modifications in play, with 1 game for psychoacoustics and echo chamber, 3 for solar panels, and 2 salmon games. Their most common weather will be Sun 2. The Jazz Hands are getting busy, with 1 psychoacoustics game, 3 sweetener games, 1 birdhouse game, and 4 Sun 2 games at home. Their joint highest weathers are Sun 2 and flooding. The Stakes get 1 sweetener game and 4 flood pump games, but their increases are still cooking. Their most frequent weather is Sun Point 1, and they play more black hole games than anyone else in the mid-season. The Spies have sourced 3 birds games, 1 feedback game, 3 flooding games, and 3 solar eclipse games from their modifications. Their most common weather is salmon, and they play the most solar eclipse games of any team. The Wild Wings have 6 games for both of their flood renovations, and are granted 3 games from 1 of their increases. Their most frequent weather is flooding. The Breathmints see 2 games for psychoacoustics and echo chamber, and 1 game from their other increaser. Their highest weather is flooding, and they play the most games in it of any team. The Firefighters get 1 game for echo chamber and 3 for sweetener. Their joint highest weathers are birds, Sun 2 and Sun Point 1, and they play the most birds games of any team. The Worms will see 3 chances to use flood pumps and 4 black hole games from their increaser. This becomes 6 overall. Their most common weather is Sun Point 1. The Moist Talkers see just 3 flooding games at home, but it increases to 8 overall, making it their most frequent weather. The Flowers get to use all their modifications, with 5 solar panel games, 1 birdhouse game, 5 psychoacoustics games, and 4 flood pump games. Flooding and black holes are their joint highest weathers. The Millennials will have 4 chances to use flood pumps and 3 to use solar panels. Their most common weathers are flooding and Sun Point 1, and they will play the most feedback games of the mid-season. The Pies get just 1 birds game while at home, and only 3 in total. Their highest weathers are flooding and black holes. The crabs are powering up in the mid-season, with 3 psychoacoustics games, 4 flood pump games, 1 heat magnet game, 3 event horizon games, and 2 blood rain games. They will play 9 black hole games in total, making it their most frequent weather. The shoe thieves will once again see no use from their modifications. They play the most Sun 2 games in the ILB during mid-season, making that and flooding their most common weathers. The Georges will be riding their modification wave, with 4 games for birdhouses, 1 for psychoacoustics, 1 for sweetener, 5 for event horizon, and 5 flooding games. Their most common weather is Sun Point 1, and they play the most games of it of any team. Meanwhile, the Dalles are keeping it calm, with 1 game for psychoacoustics and nothing for their other mods. Their most frequent weather will be flooding. The Tigers have 2 chances to use birdhouses, but see only 1 solar eclipse and 2 blood rain games. They're granted 1 salmon game, but do see 5 chances to use flood balloons. Flooding will be their highest weather, and the only weathers they won't play in are reverb and glitter, meaning they see the widest variety of weather of any team. Thanks for tuning into the weather. I'll be back with your late season forecast on Thursday, but until then, rejoice, play ball.